we do that one and then role models together, because role models are certainly resources. Okay, we'll just combine. I ask it partly because I think I've told you about some of the resources that I have put to work for me. And each of you will have your own resources that you'll bring to this. I will say that one of the most surprising resources that I've discovered over all of my years is a willingness on the part of other people, people who are doing something that you want to do, to share what they know. And so throughout my lifetime, I would find myself in a place where I wanted to pursue something, and I would go to the folks that I could see in the community who were doing it and start asking them questions, start asking about becoming involved. And the first few times I did it, I was nervous about doing it because you never know what kind of a response you're going to get. But I continued to get really good response because I think it's important to remember that people who are doing something that they love to do that you notice that you might like to do, they love what they're doing, and they'll share it with anybody. And I think it's important, very important to remember that. So in terms of resources, I think that we all have to look around ourselves for resources. I think more important than resources are the people who influence you. And a hard thing to admit for young people is the influence of family. Because, of course, young people are trying to get away from family because you're looking at yourselves now as being independent. But I will tell you that the person who had the most influence on me was my mother. My mother was an interesting woman at an interesting time who decided when she was 45 that she was going to run a business, and she created and built the largest woman-owned real estate firm in the state of Connecticut. And she started by getting a license, by then going into an office every day and just having really good customer relations. But when I look at her and how old she was and what she determined to do, and then thought about all of the steps that she had to do, I realized that in retrospect, and I didn't know this at the time, this is the other thing, you never know who's going to influence you until you actually have time to reflect. But for me, I think the biggest influence was watching this woman who lived in a time when women were supposed to stay home, raise their children, and behave themselves, turn out to be something totally different than I had expected to see. And that reminds me every single day that every day is new, an opportunity awaits every day, and it's what you do.
Experienced, passionate leaders, and being a servant leader to those individuals, including my colleague, really, I think, helped me become a better person. I often had to learn on the job and receive feedback in several different ways, whether they be comfortable or uncomfortable, and really, again, be accountable for not only my entire term, but through today for some of the decisions that I've made. And I really took that seriously. I tried to work very hard, and as Councilperson Sigaty indicated earlier, it is a tough job. It's a thankless job. You're the one out there taking most of the heat for the entire council. You're the one out there who's bringing everybody together to ensure that government moves forward. Because since we're elected by district, a lot of times as council members we kind of get focused on our district or our issues or just different things, whereas the chair has to help us bring that together, has to help remind us that there is something even bigger than our districts, our individual communities, or sometimes the county today, but the county 10, 20, 30 years from now, which is the one that we're shaping with some of the decisions that we make.